Hello, everybody, and here we are, the final day of the Candy Cane 500 Advent Calendar. So yesterday, we got this nice little Lane Riggs truck. Pretty cool add-on, and it was also the final car that was on the front of the box that we knew we were going to get. So, as you can see here, we got all 11 that we've unlocked so far. I said unlocked, unboxed, but I guess you can say it's an unlock. So, we're down to the wire. The final day of this set. Let's see what it is. It is our first winner circle car of this set, which is interesting considering that this is like this is our first winner circle car of the whole set, and it looks like it is Ryan Blaney's Martinsville win from last year, which is pretty interesting. This was the one that locked him into that Final Four, which got him the championship, even though I feel like he didn't really earn it that year. that should have gone to Byron or Bell, but yes. Not a bad one at all. Nice and interesting. Since this year, it was all just authentics throughout this whole wave until the final one, which was the winner circle car. That's how we end it. So, no bad scheme. I feel like the only thing I wish I'd change, I feel like would have been a better fit for this set, would be his Phoenix car. The car that he won the championship with. That would have been probably a better fit for this set. But still not a bad car nonetheless, even though you can barely see anything that's on top of it. But again, kind of a random car, but it makes sense since this was the last one in the wave. Or last one in the set. So I'm probably going to go ahead and put it right there, right in the back. So there we go. So might as well, I mean, it doesn't matter anyways, I'm going to go ahead and rank them again anyways. So we can go ahead and finally close that up. So we got a little bit more space. Move that up a little bit. Adjust. Enhance. So yeah. We're going to go ahead. I actually managed to dig through my collection and actually found the cars that we got last year. So we got... So we could go ahead and compare what... I think I'm just gonna see if I can remember the order. I don't think I fully remember the order I got these in, but so we're just gonna go ahead and then I got everything except for the Jimmy Johnson test car. I couldn't find that anywhere. I must have sold it or something. And then I just couldn't find the Eric Jones' Allegiant car, so I just got the one I got from the main line. So, yep, those are the 11 I could find from that set. So, I mean, last year was a pretty nice set, but I feel like this year's set was way better. I think they did a much better job this year. So, I think last year was sort of a big imbalance. We got, like, a couple winner circle cars, and then we still got some decent cars. Like, we got, I think, these three in particular, I think were my top three. The Custer, Chastain, and the Buescher cars, I think, were the three favorites of that year. Then some of the other ones were just absolute randoms. Like we had the Eric Jones car and the Jimmy Johnson test car. Those were cars in the main line. I think also the Kevin Harvick car was in the main line too. A lot more mainline cars in that set. But like last year was probably a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. This year was definitely an 8 out of 10 on to 9. So let's go ahead and I'm going to quick show off the rankings from the worst to the best, but all of them are pretty good. So starting in the last place, and number 12 was the Ricky Stenhouse car. Wasn't a bad at all idea to put a Stenhouse car in this set, but I feel like the one they chose, the scheme they chose, was kind of a bad one. I feel like they could have chosen a lot different ones. Like I said in the episode I unboxed this, even just doing like the Oscar Mayer throwback they did at Darlington. They probably could have done that one. That would have been an amazing set. Amazing car to add on to this calendar. And then moving on to number 11 was the Austin Cindric Snap-on car. Kind of the same deal. I feel like they did it only solely because it was like the best unique car they could have gone with at the time, since both the Discount Tire, Freightliner, Menards, and the Auto Trader cars were all out and run at that time. They wanted some more unique cars. But, I mean, it wasn't a bad idea to put a Cindric car on here, but I feel like they could have done something else or just picked a different driver. So number 10 will be the Thad Moffitt truck. Again, not a bad at all scheme, not bad at all car to put on here. But I feel like it's kind of basic for this set. Kind of a basic truck to add on. I feel like they could have done a lot of different other trucks they could have used. But still a nice add-on to this set. And also we have a little Out of the Groove on here too, which is kind of interesting. So moving on to, that was the 10th car. Moving on to number 9, that's going to be the car that we just unboxed, the Ryan Blaney Martinsville win car. It's so decent, it makes you want to sneeze. Oh, gosh. So, again, it's pretty cool to end it on a winner circle car, but I feel like they could have done the Phoenix car. Would have been a nicer fit as well. But if they do a winner circle car next year, do not do Joey Logano's Phoenix car. I do not want to be reminded of the worst playoff run in NASCAR history. So moving on to number 8, that's going to be the Martin Truex Ducks Unlimited car. I think this was the only one that was not an exclusive to the set, but it's still a neat one nonetheless. I feel like they could have done, similar to the Cindric car, they probably could have done a different car, and they probably could have been a different car they could have done with, but still a neat add-on, even if it's not the only one that's not unique. So that was number 8, I believe. So we had 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th. Yep, so moving on to 7th is the Lane Riggs truck. Nice add-on to the set. Pretty happy it's here. Even though it's kind of a basic scheme. They could have easily done this in the regular Authentics line, and probably no one would really care. So that was 7th. On to 6th. We have the Kyle Busch Global Industries car. A neat add-on, a unique one. And I feel like it's a nice fit. This is where we start getting into the cars that I'm kind of glad is here. And then moving on to the top 5, we have the Chase Elliott Lumar car. Another neat one here, even though I think, I'm actually not sure if it actually made it in the main line. But it's a neat add-on nonetheless. I like this game a lot. I'm glad it's here. And this is also the first car we unboxed. Moving on to 4th is the Ryan Preece Haas Automation car from 2024. I'm glad this one made it in, considering this one did not make it into the main line. It got DNP'd. And I'm glad it's here. It's a nice scheme and a nice send-off to Stewart Haas Racing with their final car, one of their final cars in the set. Into the 3rd place, we have the Ken Schrader's 2003. I mean the Daniel Suarez's Wendy's car from last year. Nice little car here. It's a glad one. I love the scheme a lot, even though it kind of reminds me of the Carrot Top Mobile, but who cares? I don't care particularly. I know Ellie does, but I don't. Moving on to number 2, we have Sam Mayer's Raptor High Heat car. Beautiful scheme to be in the set. I'm glad it's here. And a nice little add-on. Then we move on to the number 1 car. My favorite car in this set is going to be the Chandler Smith Mobil 1 car. Beautiful scheme. I'm sad it got DNP'd in a lot of places, but it's a great add-on here. Nice and unique car. Happy it's here. And it's my favorite car in the CandyCade 500 Advent Calendar. So, might as well go ahead and sort of show the thing. One thing that I think I'm glad of Lionel doing is that this year they added a lot more exclusives to this set. And this was way better of a set than last year's. Last year it was obvious it was the first time they did it. It was such like a, I guess you could say sort of a rough draft of an Advent Calendar. Not a bad one, but I feel like it could have been better last year. But this year they definitely did a lot better of a job with it. A couple of the things I would change though is, why 11 exclusive? Just make the whole thing nothing but exclusives, and that could be a great set. And also just focus on cars that didn't make it in the MOQ. I think would have been another add-on too. Like some of my favorite cars in this set was like the Ryan Preece car that didn't make the MOQ, and some of the other ones that probably didn't make the MOQ as well. Focus on that being the cars that are in next year's Advent Calendar. Just focus more on popular cars that people wanted but didn't make the MOQ. That'd be a nice add. That'd also increase the amount that you'd probably sell for that. And lastly, I think that was mostly just it. And I feel like next year, a lot of the problems like having some of the older cars, like you had like a 2023 Toyota, 2023, two 2023 Fords. But I feel like that's going to be, that was mostly a problem because they didn't have the models out ready yet for those. But hopefully for 2025 and beyond, we're going to be seeing the newer cars. So yeah. And then lastly, I guess you could say it's sort of an idea for next year's name of the calendar. I think something simple like the North Pole 500 or even like the Reindeer 500 would probably be a good idea for that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Have it be nothing but exclusives next year. Have it be popular cars that didn't make the MOQ, and then have it be like the North Pole 500. The last thing I want to say about this and what they could do for next year, I would like to see the calendar release a little bit later. This year, I think it was released like early September. But I feel like early November could be a perfect time for that. Be sort of a nice balance between, it wouldn't be too early, but it would be early enough so like the calendars won't get screwed up in like transit during holiday rush. Because yeah, I feel like they came out a little bit too early with this, and of course we know what happened. Scalpers took advantage of that and spoiled the whole thing again. But yeah, I think this year was, like I said last year, that the Snowball 500 calendar was their best Authentics-based product last year. And same thing this year. The Advent calendar, this is probably Lionel's best thing they did with the 164s. I'm glad Lionel did this again. I can't wait to see what they got in store for 2025. So, I mean, Lionel, you guys kind of suck at a lot of stuff. Specifically quality control. The MOQ thing's stupid. You kind of fumbled the Authentics line a lot, but this is definitely one of your better products. I'm glad you guys do this. Glad you guys came up with that. Thank you. It gives me 12 extra ways to make content. So, yeah. All right. So, yep, that's going to be it for this year's Advent Calendar series. Yeah, I think I said I was going to end it around Christmas Eve, but I ended it on Sunday instead. So, kind of didn't think that through, but can't wait to see what we got in store. I do have one more video planned for 2024, and that's going to be sort of what I have planned for 2025. Sort of what's next for this channel, because now with Random Cuts mostly being done for the time being, I got to figure out what I'm going to do next for this channel. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye. Yowie.